120-105, the Suns fall to the Kings. The Kings basically broke the Suns tonight, right? Jake, Fallen Founder, is on the podcast tonight. How are you feeling right now? Pretty good. Do you have a drink? Drinking tonight?
I'm definitely going to go run when you and grab another beer when you play the music because I was drinking pretty heavily.
Okay. Very cool.
I was trying to find the answers at the bottom of those beer cans, and unfortunately, Suns fans, the answer was not there either.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's anywhere right now. I don't know where this team really goes. I don't think going into this game we really thought they were going to pull off a victory, but just like sitting through this one, I'll have some questions obviously to start the pod, but seems like an end of the era kind of game. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? I know Bradley Beal's hurt.
We tried. We don't deserve it. 10 years of deplorableness coming back up. Let's do it. Dragon Bender 2.0. I'm ready for it. This has just been a horrible week for Suns basketball.
Yeah.
And you know next week when we start winning again, we're going to be like, we figured it out. We've got it going again, Suns fans. But it's these moments that hurt.
Yeah, you know what? Right now, it's like it does suck, and you do question a lot. But do we hold in there for like another week, and do they make some progress? I know last pod I was like, I bet you Booker might tweet out like, I don't want to be here or something like that. That's what I was worried about, stuff like that. I know you told me to shut the fuck up, but yeah. So that's entering my mind right now. But do you have a drink on you? Oh, you said you're gonna go get one, right? So
yeah. So, as soon as the music hits, I'll be grabbing that. But yeah, no, I'm waiting for him to say, you know what, bothered. #bothered. Bothered right now.
#bothered.
He's not unbothered. Okay. He better start being bothered. That's the problem.
Yeah, and that's gonna really scare us too. You don't want them to be bothered, but I'm bothered by this, I guess. Is that a good transition? So some eggnog with a little bit of brandy. I love it. Are you a big eggnog fan?
I like an eggnog. Milk nog is good too. And I was actually before the game came on, I was watching a Christmas Vacation, and you've kind of got that Clark W. Griswold where I hope you down that and go, it's good, because we're gonna need that kind of a moment here.
Yeah, you know what? That's the other podcaster, John. That's like his movie. So Christmas Vacation, I've seen that like a few times, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. Is that weird? I know. Maybe we could talk some Christmas movies and
that'll
give
get
our
us right
best
back in
and
the
worst
spirit
out there. Yeah,
right.
There you go. But let's start the pod. All right.
Let's do it.
120-105. The Suns do fall to the Kings, and it was quite expected. Coach Fallen Founder, Jake, that's not Coach Fallen Founder anymore. What is it now?
Booker's, yeah, you guys, do you remember why I'm now equipment manager, Fallen Founder?
No, what is it?
Because you guys had Coach Evan B on a few times, and I had my screen name as Coach Fallen Founder, and it was either you or John was like, I don't even think you're an actual coach. I don't even think you're a real coach. So like I demoted myself to equipment manager because I was like, well, geez, I'm not going to be the
so we did that
coach,
to you. We did that to you. You ever watch It's Always Sunny?
You
like cricket, like Matt, he used to be a priest, and then they basically turned him into a street rat. So basically, that's what we did to you, right?
Crickety, yeah. Basically, why don't you go back to being a coach? I can't now.
You can't anymore.
You can't just go back. Okay?
All right. Well, let me ask you the question.
Oi, Matty, mate, I've got to ask.
It is circling Twitter a little bit. Do the Suns have I'm gonna ask it. All right. Do the Suns have a Kevin Durant problem? Are we just pointing fingers at whoever the hell we want right now? Yeah, I'm just gonna start there if you want. So let me play his drop really quick, and then we can get into it.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
All right, so I did start off a little hot there with the Kevin Durant. Is it a Kevin Durant problem? The only reason is because, of course, the trade. We basically traded away our future for the guy. Now, I mean, he put up 40 points last game. He's been looking great. He is probably our best player the majority of the time. But is this really good for the team, though? I don't I'm not pointing the blame. I'm saying like, oh, he's doing a trash job out there. It's just the fact that like maybe right now we're kind of relying on him and Booker, and it's not the right way to go about things. But I don't know. I just kind of want to throw that out to you and just see what your response is.
Well, it's yes and no. You're absolutely right. I mean, he played phenomenal. I think was it last game and this game. If you look at some of the numbers that he put together, what did NBA have? 28.7 rebounds, couple assists, 9 of 14 shooting, so over 64%. He was 2 of 3 from three, and he was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. I mean, if you're going to tell me, oh, that's Kevin Durant's stat line, I'm going to say, wow. So who did we just go beat again? Of course, then there was the 7 turnovers, and it's interesting because it feels like, I don't know, he can create a lot of offense, but he should not be attempting to create this much offense, and it does kind of make me sit back and go, you know what? I know those first round picks aren't probably going to amount to much, but Mikal Bridges and a Cam Johnson right now, how good would they look back at with the let's say a couple weeks from now, Bradley Beal's back and Booker, would we actually want a Bridges and a Cam Johnson? It's always greener on the other side, right? So It's easy to say that because, as you point out, Kevin Durant, until this last, and this is going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to point out for this game and this week in general. Kevin Durant was playing MVP-like numbers. I mean, second highest scoring output in his career, I think. Numbers we hadn't seen since Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, just phenomenal play. So, do we have a Kevin Durant problem? Yes, but no. And there's not one single problem with this team, which is, I think, the frustration. Because then, if we did have one problem, it'd be a heck of a lot easier to solve.
That is true, and you don't really know behind the scenes how this team's really acting. You don't really know like how Booker and KD and how the whole thing's going down. I know last podcast I did bring up, the relationship between Booker and KD means a lot to this team and how they're handling themselves behind the scenes, I feel like, and how they're leading this team. To me, it just
you had to like it tonight, though. At the very end, I noticed that before the game was over, Booker and KD walked back to the locker room together, and hermanos. Yeah,
they were walking next to each other? Okay,
yeah, they both got up. They're like, I'm not going to go shake their hands. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, 2 guys that should have helped us beat the Kings. Yeah, no, you guys don't go shake hands. Poor Yuta Watanabe and Bol Bol have to sit there and shake hands with everybody. Like, hey, I was just excited to be here, says Bol Bol. But yeah, no, I can't tell if I'm excited that they were that upset that they didn't want to go shake hands afterwards because they know they're struggling right now, or should they sit there and just kind of face the fire? Whatever actually gets them to actually turn it around and get motivated. I mean, I feel like that's the thing we're missing for the last week to 2 weeks at least.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Booker and KD, like what they're doing on the court, obviously in the stat sheets, it looks good. I mean, Booker, he's kind of fallen off. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but it's kind of just like the transition between what they can do behind the scenes to really get this group ready, how they can lead, and how it actually transitions to the court. And then it's like, well, is it a coaching issue? Is it, some of our assistant coaches, you want to put the blame on them if you want. I don't know where you go from here. And the whole players meeting thing, that was a question asked to Chimezie Metu before the game. And he's like, hasn't happened yet. And we hope it doesn't get there, basically. Is it a time, though, right now where they have the players only meeting and it turns the season around? Or like the only thing is like the players are only meeting. How does that, like, how do they not just like talk in the locker room together? Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
don't talk to me.
Let's have a
yet.
desk in front of us. Let's have some chairs. Like, is that the difference?
Yeah.
I just think this team
and where they turn the chair so the back is sitting at the
front.
Oh
yeah, like AC
guys, let's
Slater.
Rap about this.
AC Slater, say by the bell, dweeb. Yeah, like turns it around, just calling people names. No, you don't want that. You want this team talking respectfully to each other. But on the court, like, you just don't see the communication as much. You just see mostly it's a lot of yelling and stuff too. But I wanted to bring up the one time during this game, I've never seen this before in my life, where Kevin Durant does step on the court, gets a tech, and Udoka gets that dunk. He's super excited, runs on the court basically to celebrate in a way, and he gets a tech. Booker gets a tech. A little later on, Coach Vogel gets a tech too. So plays like that, it can be frustrating, right? Because the Suns were kind of like not on a run, but like after that dunk, you kind of felt something. And I feel like we keep seeing that. Like we're so close on runs where we go on 4 or 5 point runs, and all of a sudden we shoot ourselves in the foot. Either a bad pass, the technicals. I'm not the one to really blame the rest. Especially the Suns are going to the free throw line like they did tonight. What was it, 22-28? I'm not going to blame the refs for anything. It's just the response the Suns have with the refs and getting those texts. I feel like it kind of ruined a little bit of a run there in the second quarter. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean to a degree, and you're right. I'm not going to blame the refs. That's fanning the flames, and so says Jay's territory to keep the ever watchful eye on referee conduct. But you're absolutely right in the sense that one bad play and these guys can lose it, and it will shift momentum. Absolutely. So whether we're trying to cut into a lead and we go on a 6-7 point run, and then we get a tech. And then we start going back to making mistakes and playing mistake-full basketball, not instead of mistake-free basketball. So
mistake-full, yeah.
I guess mistake-full. Yeah, we'll go with that. So yeah, no, I think it's just the wrong times. Although I will say that the one that Frank Vogel got was kind of strange to me because I thought Kevin Huerter clearly fouled Durant, and even if he didn't foul Durant, I thought if he didn't contact Kevin, he knocked the ball loose, and
yes,
that's why it went to the half court, and then
that's why it should have been because he did touch it, he tipped it. That was the reason.
And then the ref's like 2 seconds goes by, and he goes, "Yeah, no, over and back," and that's why Frank's like, "What are you doing? Like either call the foul, he poked the ball free, or call it when it happened, and you were very delayed." And he just does this, and you can't react like that. I'm like, whoa, okay, no, come on. That Frank was kind of fine on that one, like,
Yeah, but also like before in the beginning of the season, I feel like Frank did such a good job with Kevin Durant, really going at the refs and like getting him to the free throw line more and more every game. So I loved it before. Of course, the Suns were winning too. You know what I mean? So it kind of lit the fire underneath their butt, and the right way. And it actually worked. Tonight, it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, we're very fragile right now. We can't make these mistakes where we're giving up a point here or there, because it comes down to, the end of the game when you're down just a few points. I know tonight was a blowout, but those points are crucial right now. And I have another question too. I'll just get right into it. Do the Suns even look like a playoff team right now, man? I know we think no, absolutely not. But do you really see any kind of signs of where it might turn around to where they can make the playoffs, be a top 8 seed? I know it's a long season, but just I've never seen this team this bad recently in the last 3 or 4 years. This is just something that I haven't experienced in a while. Like I said earlier in the podcast, it seems like an end of an era kind of game where we're just questioning things. But I don't know, man. Right now, they're obviously not a playoff team, right?
Right. No, you know what it is.
Looking.
It feels like, what do we do? An 8-game win streak or 7-game win streak, I think. And that wrapped up, I think, 3 weeks ago or so. And then we've kind of treaded water. And then obviously this week has been rough. But that win streak felt like forever ago, right? And and with Beal re-injuring himself, it just feels like we just can't, we can't catch a break. And then, you can say what you want about like a Josh Okogie or an Eric Gordon or Grayson Allen, but, we all of a sudden are reliant on these 4th, 5th option guys. And we just, in the health department, can't stay healthy. And so we have to play heavy minutes for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And so, right now, we're definitely not a playoff team, play-in team maybe, but, it's winning cures a lot. And, if the big three, and of course the biggest right, if the big three can play together and remain healthy, winning can solve a lot of problems. You get a healthy Josh Okogie out there, and then maybe they can actually, for the first time since the season started, fall into roles. I feel like the only guy that has shown any adaptability has been Grayson Allen. And you see it in I didn't know much about his game. I thought he was just going to be like a 3-and-D type player, but he's bodying people up in the post and on defense and grabbing rebounds and getting assists and taking it to the basket. He's not just sitting there on the wing, which I feel like is every single night with Nazir Little and Yuta Watanabe, and just like they just sit there and they just wait and they wait and they wait and they get it and they shoot and they miss, and then we all get pissy again and go, God dang it! All right, Kevin, Devin, don't pass it to him anymore, and then we get upset with Kevin and Devin that they're getting doubled and they're not making shots, and it's like I said, it's more of a oh, you remember that movie with Keanu Reeves? This was like post goofy Keanu Reeves went, but before like he started doing cool John Wick stuff. It's called The Replacements.
No,
you don't remember The Replacements?
Oh, the football one.
The football one, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but I've heard
it's a
of it.
good time. Yeah.
I've seen the movie poster plenty of times, but never checked it out.
Okay, there's a great scene in there because all the players are like essentially, they all get brought in and they used to all be like former college grades. Maybe they like flamed out in the pros and they're all getting a second shot. And the coach asked them in the locker room when they had a team meeting that they said, hey, okay, what's everyone afraid of? And of course, at first there's some jokes because nobody ever understands the question right. And then Shane Falco, Keanu Reeves goes, quicksand. And he goes, you think everything's going right, and then something goes wrong, and then another, and then another. And before you know it, you're in too deep, and you're in over your head. And I feel like that's the problem with the Suns right now, is that it's just these little things, right? It's not like, hey, Kevin Durant, do we have a Kevin Durant problem? I don't know. The guy almost had 30 points, 7 rebounds, and shot the lights out. It sounds weird, but he did have 7 turnovers. Devin Booker, well, he could have played better, but yeah, he had 24 points, 7 assists. I mean, it's like, oh, well, is Devin Booker just not elite enough? I don't know. That's pretty great stats. So it's just something happens, and you're right with the text. Something happens, and then another, and then a bad couple defensive sequences, and then Yuta Watanabe is just like, I can't hit the broadside of a barn anymore. And so you talk about it a lot with kind of body language. These role player guys outside of maybe Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon, because I don't know if he has any body language right now except just stand out there.
Yeah, we'll get into them. Sure.
But everyone's just like down on themselves. And I'm sorry, you got to find a way to contribute. If you're not making shots, go wreck some people on the boards. And that's why I liked early spoiler warning, Azubuike is going to probably be my jam star of the night.
He has to be, absolutely. We don't have a drop.
11. That guy just seemed like he was having a blast out there. And
but like that's the thing, is like that was the one bright spot, I guess you can say, for the Suns. But the thing is like even Saban Lee came in tonight too and had a little bit of a bright spot a few times. But Azubuike, first time playing, I think he had like 8 minutes this whole year before coming into tonight's game. He comes in, he did light a little bit of a fire into the Suns, and he was even yelling down by 20, like, come on, let's fucking play. Like it was the fourth quarter. But those dunks and stuff, him taking his time down there on the post, getting his move on, like he was just basically owning Sabonis there for a little bit. And it was the spark that the Suns needed, right? It was like, oh my God, like we have some guy in here that's fucking shit up. And he was doing that at a high level in the beginning, in the first quarter. When he first came in, of course, Eubanks, we'll talk about him a little bit. Eubanks had the 2 fouls. Azubuike comes in, like, what? And it turned out great. It looked good. But it's exactly what the Suns needed to actually win a game like this, because you need those extra guys to step up. So now the Suns are just performing the way they are, and everyone's like on the trade machine trying to find other guys to add. The way I'm thinking of this, I'm like, we have guys. We knew what we got in the offseason. We killed the offseason with what it looked like on paper as a really good, solid team, even with Eric Gordon added. Of course, Beal's out, but whatever. I don't care about that right now. I don't think the Suns can really trade for anybody that can come in and fix this right now, right? Because it's like even Yuta right now that can't hit anything. He was supposed to be a 3-point specialist. He can't knock down anything. So what makes us think like some guy's going to come here, start draining threes, start playing great D to help this Suns team actually like limit a team from like scoring 120 points once? You know what I mean? Like I don't see any guys coming in here to help that at all. But let's talk about Booker really quick before we get into the bench.
Big Dick Booker.
Yeah, Booker, like you said, he had 24 points, 7 assists, 0 from 3. So there's a few things with Book's game tonight. Like, okay, the whole point guard thing, I want to ask you about that. Okay, so there are a few comments I want to bring up if I can get back. My computer's going a little slow. Jason L does say Booker isn't a point guard. Low Suns, Book's not a superstar. I've been saying. Lazy Sasquatch, not going to read that one because it has nothing to do with Booker. I love Booker playing the point. I do. And I think today tonight's game in the first quarter, there were just some wide open threes all game long. Suns were missing threes. He was 0 for 3, obviously. He was setting guys up. Guys were open. All right. But him finishing out around the rim has been a little bit more tough. He was getting to the free throw line. I think he was 4 for 4 to start in the first half. But I think he can be that point guard. I don't think getting a point guard is the solution. If it's Halliburton, hell yeah. Of course. Yeah, right. But that should have been our guy, right? Mm-hmm. But anybody else, it's like, okay, could we just get a decent point guard in here? Do you think that would change things? Or do you believe in Book to be our point guard?
I get it because when the Suns have a storied history with elite point guards. I mean, and the full spectrum of point guards even. But I mean, we got Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Kevin Johnson, Chris Paul. And so like we've never been known for centers, but we've always had phenomenal guard play, it feels like. And so is Devin Booker a point guard? No, but he's the primary offensive creator for this team. And that's kind of what you expect out of a point guard. He's having a career high in assists at over 8 a game. Yes, career high in turnovers, but his usage rate is up on this too. I mean, again, when you have to be the initiator, it's kind of normal that it would go up. And, I'm more concerned with turnovers from other players than I am with Book right now. So, is he a point guard? Hey, I would love to get him some help so he doesn't have to try and do so much. And honestly, that's going to be when Bradley Beal is able to play more than 20 minutes with him, and so because Beal's going to be able to take a lot of that off of his shoulders. I think Booker will still be number one in the creation of it, but it's going to be a lot easier to send the ball over across the court to Bradley and start the offense over again there, as opposed to send it to Josh Okogie, send it to Nasir Little or somebody else, and the ball just stops. And then they look for where Kevin is and look for where Devin is. And if you have 3 guys that can really create their own, that's really where you're going to get a lot more mismatches. And, we were missing Nurkic a lot. He is pretty good for a center that can create some stuff. So I'm not too down on Devin being kind of the focal point of offensive creation right now. Is he a true point guard? Not in the purest sense of the word. But, he's our guy. We're going to ride with him. He's our homegrown talent. He was the prince that was promised. Come on, guys. Let's not get too down on him in the comments. It's just like, Booker's not a point guard. It's like, okay, he doesn't have to be, but he's still, and I think, the leader of our team. And I think he's still he's still an elite player. He's just had a couple tough games, and this whole team is trying to figure some things out right now.
Yeah, and it's not a thing where, to me, I don't think it's not a thing where it's like Booker, like I mentioned before in previous podcasts, it's not a thing where it's like Booker has to be like the MVP, like the Giannis, like that type of player, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously he can't because of size, I mentioned before, but the only way to do this with Durant, if Beal's not able to play this season because it just keeps getting re-injured, he would have to go to the next level. I don't think he can with the KD next to him, and that wouldn't be enough to be a championship contender. I want to see what it's like with Beal. You saw it a little bit here and there when Beal was playing, how good it did look in the first 3 minutes against the New York Knicks. Like there is definitely something there, and we just have to keep waiting. And I think that might just be the frustration, just the wait for Beal to come back, and then Booker can play point guard, and it's going to look good. It's going to take some time, and if you believe in it, that's good. Right now, it's just hard to believe in any of that. So let's talk about another stinker.
Big Crank Eubanks. Crank that soul, now I mean you. Crank that soul, now I mean you. Crank that soul, now I mean you. Crank that soul, now what?
What happened to this guy? He honestly, I don't know what's going on. Do you have a take on Eubanks at all? Because I think that what we saw earlier in the season was something that was really positive coming off the bench. Someone that was explosive, that was athletic, that wasn't afraid of around the rim. He was dunking on guys. He was basically bullying anybody in there. Now it's like opposite. I did tweet that it looked like the way he's playing is like there's a piece of shit on the floor he doesn't want to step on underneath the basket. He falls away so much from the rim, and it's frustrating as hell, man. What do we do? He started tonight, 2 fouls, he was out. obviously he kept dropping everything that was thrown to him. It looked bad. I kind of felt bad. I kind of wanted just to call mercy and just have him just subbed out the rest of the game. It's getting that bad for this guy, don't you think?
Oh, and I think Frank saw what you saw and pretty much did pull him out early. I mean, 14 minutes in the game for his starting spot, not quite what we were hoping for from the empty spank bank. But it's I don't know. Maybe he's doing it too often. It's just a theory, Suns fans. But it's unbelievable what is happening. And you're right. Yeah, the only thing I can explain it with is it's kind of like the backup quarterback of your favorite football team is always a beloved player, and it's always, well, maybe we should give him a shot as soon as your starter starts struggling. And the problem is 9 times out of 10 when they have to play actual starter roles, they struggle, and that's why they're backups usually. So
yeah,
it's why Drew is a journeyman backup. It's why he backs up Nurkic in Portland. It's why he's backing him up here. He's not ready to take over from Nurk, and he'll give you flashes and you'll go, wow. And then you'll remind yourself, hey, he's not going to do much more than that. And that's okay.
Yeah, I guess so. And John trying to say, hey, he's doing Ayton stuff on a budget. And I totally agree with that. It's just, I thought there was more there. And I guess not. I was fooled. All right. And it's not the first time I've been fooled as a Suns fan. Is there anything positive taken from that? So I think the whole Nurk MVP conversation, does this need to start taking place here quickly? Where Nurk is out tonight and like all of a sudden the Suns are just struggling. I'm just joking. There's no way that's even a thing, obviously. But we didn't miss Nurk tonight because I feel like Nurk would have made a difference. Huh?
I was wondering how serious you were going to push that. Like,
no,
no,
not at all. Of course, we all love Nurk here. I think Nurk's been phenomenal all year long. Him missing against Sabonis was a big deal. That was huge because Sabonis was abusing us early, late, and often all game long. He did have the 28 points go along with De'Aaron Fox's 23, who I feel like De'Aaron Fox, when he's playing nuts, like he can score 50 anytime. Like he's wide open all the time, all game long. There's nothing you can do. I know Saban Lee came in. I don't know if that was like a thing to kind of like, kind of contest against Fox, which you can't contain that, I feel like. But I mean, he did his
the way
best.
I looked at bringing in Saban and Ozzy was just, hey, if you guys aren't going to play, I'm going to play somebody that wants to. And I think it was an attempt to send a message to these guys that are way into their own head, is that, hey, Jordan Goodwin, you can't slow down Fox, and you are missing too many shots. Bring in Saban Lee. Hey, Drew Eubanks, I don't know what's happening to you right now, but I'm going to play, Ozzy, who I haven't played all year, pretty much. I mean, I think he's got like 3 minutes in the season so far played. So I think you just reach down deep and gave it a shot. Saw what was completely on his bench. I mean, hey, Bull got meaningful minutes in the end with over
I guess
3.
No, I guess he did. It just seemed like tonight where the Suns went through spurts, and you brought up this guy earlier. I want to talk about him because he is still obviously competing at a high level. I feel like.
Hi, Barbie.
Oh, hi, Alan.
Oh, Grayson Allen, our fuck shit up guy.
He got the start along with Eric Gordon tonight, and we'll talk about Eric Gordon in a little bit, but I think Grayson Allen's play this year has been very consistent. It always seems like, of course, in these type of games, like he is always in there. He's like the extender where he's going to grab those extra rebounds, helping out whoever's in the middle, and usually it's Nurk. But he does such a great job there, and he's really just competing all game long, right? He's taking the ball to the hoop as much as he can. It doesn't finish as much. He did hit 3 threes tonight. Him, Little, and a lot of the bench guys were trying to push towards the rim, trying to be more aggressive, but they just could not finish tonight, just like they couldn't knock down their threes. Grayson Allen, though, man, like, I don't know. I just see the disappointment on his face, just like Book. But he's just like, fuck, like, this is probably my best year. It's seriously, like, this is like his best year, and it's going to waste, don't you think?
Well, I mean, at the moment, right? He's not young enough to where he's like, exactly. It's been a bad week.
I don't want to waste these type of games.
Bad week and a half. I know. Good. Well, yeah, exactly. It's but I think he's certainly identified himself as, interestingly enough, a true like full-on utility player. I mean, hits the three, knows how to drive, looks for the open man, plays hard on defense. And he's kind of. Oh well, I'll be honest. When Beal does come back and the big three are in there with Nurk, I would say that the fifth starter should be Grayson Allen.
Yep,
moving
I said
forward.
that too. Yeah, it has to be Grayson. I feel like
early on, remember it was KBD and Yuta and Josh Okogie was all the debates, and Grayson Allen, man, he's the one that'll he'll dive on the floor for you. He'll hit the open three, unlike Josh Okogie and that company. So yeah, no, I think we found our fifth starter. He finds ways every game to try and keep things going.
Yeah, he's just like a better Josh Okogie, I feel like. But the thing is, I love his cutting. I love that he's always on the move, right? And especially when Beal is back, like I just feel like the lanes are going to be wide open for him, and he can finish around the rim. Like you said, unfamiliar with his game earlier in the podcast. He didn't know how good he was around the rim, and he is good, man. He'll draw contact. And I feel like he gets driven to the floor a lot of times, like tonight with Monk. And we got to bring up the Monk dunk, and we didn't talk about it yet. But that dunk over Eubanks, I guess it was kind of over Eubanks. That was pretty fucking awesome. But what sucks is coming into this game, I wanted it to be like, hey, the Suns win. Obviously, you want that. But I finally wanted Booker to have a good game against the other guy, like De'Aaron Fox, just to outshine him and have those highlights, that are just fluttering around Twitter or X, and just, all night long we can just look at it like, damn, what a great game. Like the Suns finally got a win against a good team. And then look at this play from Book. Look at this play by maybe Eubanks gets a big dunk. But no, it's Monk. And he destroys the Suns. And when that happened, that's when I felt like the Kings broke the Suns and the season was over. But at that exact moment, that's when I thought that. But your thoughts on, if you want to give any takes on the Kings, I know it's kind of hard right now to really talk about the opponent when, we went through what we did and what we have been going through, even though it's not as bad, 500 team right now. But do you think that the Kings, just really quick, I mean, any response to the way the Kings played tonight, and then also just this season, do you think like this team is a legit like contender, or do they need that extra piece?
No, I think, well, first off, I just love that. The mentality that you just shared is absolutely every Suns fan right now, which is, oh my God, season's over. I mean, we're 500 and we're missing one of our best players and a couple other role players, but season's
yeah, but
over.
I know, what, I was prepared for this. I know, but like, I understand that, but it's just like, I can't take it anymore, man. Like I want to reverse the trade. I want to do all that shit now. I want Chris Paul back. I want everything back now. So continue. I'm sorry.
You know what it is? We haven't seen enough of Beal to know what the potential unlock is that's on the horizon. So it's like, oh, when we get him back, we still don't know. We think we know. We hope we know. On paper it looks great, but you're right. As for the Kings, I mean, I would say, are they a legit threat in the West? Not yet. Keegan Murray though. Better than I was expecting. It seems improved.
He was going to be traded too. He looks good. Yeah.
Seems improved. Sabonis, man, just to think. I think wasn't there talk that we were going to send Ayton to?
Oh yeah, that was a thing. That was a legit. That was like a legit trade
for Sabonis. Could you imagine right now if it was Sabonis with the big three? That would be glorious.
No, I would rather. I'm just
Oh, I was going to say, wait. But no, this Kings team, I think they can make a competitive. They're going to compete in any playoff series. I think they are one move away. But, they kind of have a core. They kind of remind me how the Suns were when we went on that finals run, and that I think they really like their core. And they might have a hard time giving them up, except for maybe Keegan. And maybe that's kind of, maybe they are excited, hey, a rookie contract, and he's really showing out a little bit lately, and maybe that's going to be tradable for what they need, because I do think they are missing that other piece. I mean, their defense is still not much, and I mean, obviously they were able to shut us down tonight, but for the season, they're still a little bit, they want to go out and outscore you, and so I think they're going to be an interesting team to watch in the West, and I think they're going to be competitive, but I don't see them getting further than the second round right now. But that's not bad for them. I mean, from where they came from over the last
week. Yeah. I mean, they kept the same roster, obviously. Like, but I think they are one piece away, and it's really kind of just like a bigger guy that's more dominant. You know what I mean? Like, if Nurk's in this game, he owns Sabonis. I feel like those two going back and forth. I think he has his upper hand on Sabonis in this situation, but maybe that's just me being a homer. But that's what I was looking forward to. Actually, in the preview that I wrote for Brightside, I wrote the thing on those two going head to head, and then last minute something came up and Dirk was out. So yeah, as we keep talking through this, it doesn't seem as bad, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'll jump right back into the relationship with the Suns after I was almost out. You talked me back into it. But last game, I thought Eric Gordon needed to have a fourth quarter that was just on fire. We needed that from him last game to pull out a victory. Tonight, we got absolutely nothing from him.
From Indiana University, number 23, Eric Gordon.
0 for 2, 0 points.
Was it that bad? Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? When he is starting, he is a much better player. His statistics show so, but tonight, man, 0 points from him, man. And the thing is, like, when he's starting with Grayson Allen, I feel like Grayson Allen's such a good cutter. And what you get from Eric Gordon is he stands out there. But tonight it was like he was so hesitant to do anything else. The pick and roll, he wouldn't really roll. There was a wide open lane, just kind of stood there. And then he would also just like kind of go into the lane with the ball and like pull it back out. He looked really timid tonight. I'm not saying he's very good at finishing around the rim because I think he's honestly atrocious doing that. But when we're not getting those threes to go down or even the attempts, it's a waste of space, right? A little bit.
Well, I'll be honest. I was not super familiar with Eric Gordon's game. Back when he was in New Orleans. And even with the Rockets, I feel though like he was probably more athletic. I mean, understandably, he's getting up there a little bit in years, but is it just me or does Eric look like he's got like, if there's a guy with a dad bod on this team, it's Eric Gordon. I mean, he comes in, and I don't know if you've seen his build, but he looks like a guy like that you play pickup ball with, and he's the big kind of slightly overweight guy that just sits out there and shoots threes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
you're a big guy. Why don't you just go stand closer to the basket? And like he's like, no, and he doesn't want to really play defense, and he just wants to chuck threes up from way deep and be like pro league, pro level, and just toss them in. And so right now, I feel like that's Eric. He's a very intelligent player, and so I know he's a lot better than how I just described him. But he can't. He's not really going to take over a game by himself. He can get super hot from three and start draining a bunch. But I think the days of an Eric Gordon takeover, which he had a little bit, 5 years ago, are going to be fewer and far between now, and that's tough. Hopefully, we don't need to rely on him to turn back the clock because I just don't think it's going to be there. I think he's. I'm glad we got him on a minimum contract.
No, I know exactly, and he does look like a pug, doesn't he?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he does look like a pug. Exactly.
I saw, was it Old Man in the Three? They were asking him about his nicknames. And they're like, Eric Gordon. He's like, yeah, that's a classic one. And I forget, JJ Redick was just reading all the ones off of Basketball Reference. And he's like, The Hobbit. And he's like, yeah, that one's real too. And he goes, they call you The Hobbit? And he goes, it was some coach. The movie had just come out and all the other guys were much bigger around me. And they're just like, oh, The Hobbit. And so it just kind of stuck. And I'm just like,
oh, wow.
No, but you also kind of look like
yeah, I guess so.
He always keeps the beard going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's got hairy feet. Who knows? But yeah, I could see he could have been like the fifth Hobbit,
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that now. Maybe he should go and take a role. But I honestly think that what we're gonna get from Gordon in the future is gonna be more of just like when this team is settled. I always thought this whole season where Gordon was really striving is when things were consistent, like things were organized. Right now, everything's a mess, and Gordon does not succeed in those kind of situations. He just doesn't, and right now he's just not going to. So I think starting him, it's fine. I don't even know. You want to start, bench, whoever. It doesn't really matter, I guess, right? I mean, if you're going to throw a starting five out there, that's who you want right now, right? And then you don't have Nurk, but you want Nurk in there. And I don't know. I know they were trying to start Nazir Little. That wasn't working. Then we actually saw Yuta tonight, and he didn't play like the last two games.
Mm-hmm.
Still couldn't hit a three. Did he make a three? 0 for 3. 0 for 2. Oh, my bad. Hold on. He was 0 for 3. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, so 0 for 3. And
Oh
things.
yeah, he just had that running layup at the end,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
looked great because I was like, oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen him take a shot inside the arc. But yeah, I guess he did, and he did it like under pressure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this whole team just all of a sudden in the
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of bricks and of boards, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of stagnation. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Shamit Zone.
this whole team's in the Shamit zone. I mean, Shamit is out shooting our
100%.
whole bench from 3 right now. So it's a team thing, right? Like I said earlier, there's no
yeah.
one you can get on this team, make a trade for where it's going to improve right now. I just don't know where it starts. And I guess you could say it's top down. Does it go as far as Ishbia? Do we start playing that card right now or no?
It's his fault, and you know what? I was told recently. Somebody brought up the point that Ishbia did a terrible job of putting Sean Marion in the Ring of Honor at this time of year when nobody was paying attention, but because it was like early December. Yeah, it's like, oh, why didn't you wait till like more people are paying attention? But I just want to point out this actually because I just had it with me. I'm getting ready to travel for Christmas. Everything I need to know I learned in the Twilight Zone is a book that one, if anybody's looking for a good Christmas book, this is actually a fun one for anyone that actually likes the Twilight Zone.
Oh, very cool. All right.
Yeah.
So you're more like you
well,
actually are reading books instead of like Audible. Do you ever do like the Audibles?
Oh yeah, no, I actually probably do more Audible anymore just because I get through them a hell of a lot faster. No, it's funny for anyone that actually knows the show. Most of the episodes are like one guy is doing something and ends up in the Twilight Zone. And you're right, this is one of those rare episodes where it seems the entire team has stumbled into the Twilight Zone, and they're all looking around like, "Is it me? Is it you? Are you real? Are you the real version of you, or are you like the Shamit version of you?" And so it's everyone. That's what I mean. It's like so I'm also a diehard New Orleans Saints fan, which means I just love misery for my professional sports teams. And if anyone suffered through that amazing Thursday night football game last night, you'll know that it's very similar in that everything is wrong with that team right now. And that's what it seems like. The Suns are they're better than my Saints for sure, but it's everyone needs to improve on something right now. There's not somebody that's carrying us. The coaching needs to be worked on. Really just about every single player has something to work on: defense, rebounding, just shooting. The guys that play defense and rebound can't shoot, and the guys that shoot don't play defense. I mean, it's just so it very much just seems like, call a team meeting in the Shamit Zone. That's the only way.
Maybe they need to get out of there. And I was gonna say Derek Carr is probably the most annoying motherfucker to watch on the football field. Can't stand him off the football field. Everything he does, I can't stand. Sorry, he's cringy. I don't know if you like him or not as your quarterback, but
wait, who's cringy?
Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I saw somebody point out. Yes, Saints won a ring. Yes, and that was absolutely. That's why I always tell Suns fans, just hang in there, because when it actually happens, when we win that title, it is one of the most amazing, unbelievable feelings. But that's why I got a little sidetracked, because at first I thought you were saying like Drew Brees is just a jerk, and I was like, wait, what? About
he's cringy too. All right, well, I don't know.
He's cringy because he's like so nice, but no, Derek's cringy for sure.
Well, I did tonight. I didn't do a subreddit because last second John had to like pop off and do his thing tonight, and just give it up to me to find somebody, and it all worked out. Jake, thanks for joining the show tonight. So I didn't do subreddit, but we can go ahead and do Jam Star of the
Game. Jam Star of the Game.
And you know what? Actually, what sucks is the Kings Reddit. Kings have like a really good fan base out there. I don't know if you ever watched. Have you ever watched Deuce and Mo? Their podcast, Kings Pocket, really good podcast. It's kind of like John and I were just two of them, been doing it for forever. Big following over there, but their fan base is always great. And I'm sure it would have been very positive. Probably a little bit of fuck you book. Grayson Allen looks like Ted Cruz. this is all DeAndre Ayton's fault. Why is this happening? Honestly, it is. All of this is just DeAndre Ayton's fault. It is. If he ever
GA, had you actually got a low post
Did you-
game, we wouldn't be here right now.
Did you really quick? I don't even care. We're gonna talk about Ayton just for a second. Did you see like Chauncey Billups had to talk about, and even players are talking about, yeah, we have to motivate him the whole game. Like, oh my god, dude, it's happening again. And it's always gonna happen. I don't know. So I don't know if you saw that, but GM started the game. You said it's gonna be Udoka, right? Is that who you're giving it to?
Yeah. How do you say his name?
Azubuike. Azubuike.
How about
Udoka. My bad.
Azu on my nuts? That's what I thought he was. That was the energy he was playing with.
Tonight, there you go.
Where he was just like, we're down 20 points. He slams the ball in the basket, turns around, he's like, no, come on, let's play defense. It's like that is a guy that you want on your team to like.
Yes.
Keep going. He reminded me of like Big Sauce. Remember Alan Williams? He had that Big Sauce energy. It was all about it. I was like, this is exactly what Booker and Durant need to see. The other guys need to see. Like he needs somebody charging the floor with.
Yeah, I know exactly, and we wasted it because what we got from him tonight was great, but it's one of those things where, like, well, now they have a little bit of film on him, and we'll see how he does the next game because he's going to continue to get minutes now, right? Even with Nurk coming back, you'll see more of him because of the energy he brought, right? Maybe over Eubanks. Is that going to be a thing?
Yeah, no, I think Eubanks is kind of like a poor man's version of Nurk right now. And if Ozzy is going to be the more athletic big that actually tries to dunk over people in the restricted area, then go for it. Yeah, and keep Drew glued to the seat until he figures out whatever is wrong with him.
Okay. Yeah, let's go with that.
I'm ready for some more Ozzy. Give me more of that.
Let's do that, and let's just see what the Jamsters say. It's already starting out great. So Lazy Sasquatch, nobody. Azubuike, obviously. Udoka, Jam Star, one out from John Tran. Kiko G, no Jam Star because no one showed up. It's funny when we talk about like our responses to the games, all losing, winning, whatever. It's always about chemistry, heart. They didn't show up. Things like this. It's always just so basic, and I'm guilty of it too, right? It's always just that, right? The Suns tonight didn't show up. They didn't have the guts, but it's like they know they have to win this game. They know they have to somehow make this a close game in the end. I don't know. I feel like they did try, it's just something's off. I think the try is there. It's just something is off, and it's not a try thing, I don't think. But
I mean, no. One of the Jam Stars actually made a good point is that motivation that's really got to fall on the coaching staff, and I agree to an extent. Yes. But I think at the pro level, and you hear this a lot from actual guys that have played the game, you don't need your coach to motivate you at the NBA level because you have had to go through so many junior league, youth camps, grade school games, high school games, college games, developmental league, years in the league, that to try and make millions and millions of dollars and millions more in advertisement and sponsorships, you should already be motivated. And so there are the rare exceptions. Yeah. There are the DeAndre Aytons out there. But, I think Devin Booker wants to win every game. I saw it was at a Jamal Crawford bit talking about Devin Booker and the other day, and he said that he would play one-on-one with them after practice. And he said Devin would win the vast majority of the times. He said, but the few times I would win, he'd get really pissed off about it, and because he just didn't like losing. And I think that is the case with Booker. I think they are motivated, but you're right. Something's not clicking. And, and it a little bit does have to fall on the coaching staff. I don't think it's just a Frank Vogel problem. I mean, if we've got the highest paid assistant head coach and Kevin Young that was supposed to be this offensive mastermind, some Suns fans wanted him to be the head coach. I feel like the offense is just as stagnant as the defense is porous. We got Coach Fizdale that a lot of people are like, oh my God, we got another head coach as like an assistant coach. What a fan. I feel like we're coach. I feel like we've got a lot of depth at the coaching position right now. So I don't know if it's a coaching problem per se, as so much as it's just the whole team needs to kind of figure something out and figure out which direction to pull in. It's kind of like rowing. If you're not in sync with everyone, then the boat's just not going to go the way it's supposed to. And that's only because I've seen that Boys in the Boat preview too many times now that I know that that's a thing.
Boys in the boat. Hold on, hold that thought really quick. I want to get to John Tran. He
Oh, I
does
thought
say
you had a drop for Boys in the Boat.
no, I don't know what that is. I gotta ask what that is. Maybe I do, but hold on. John Tran does say the Kings are just too good at home. This was going to be a hard game regardless. Couldn't make threes or layups to keep up, and that is basically the game. What does that come down to? Just fundamentals, I guess. Just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just all it is. But boys in the boat or boys on the
Boys in the
boat.
Boat.
What do they do?
It was I think it was like the American Olympic team that won in rowing.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
it's a movie that's out right now or is coming
Okay.
out, and there was a book about it. It's on Audible as well. It's supposed to be really good.
Oh, sounds
called The Boys in
exciting.
the Boat.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a riveting story about rowing? But no, I think something kind of clicked for me earlier this week, or maybe it was even last week on this, is that the tough thing with this team is it's so top heavy with Booker, Durant, and Beal that we didn't realize how lucky we had it when we had Ayton, Cam Johnson, Crowder, Paul, Booker, Bridges, guys that might not be better than a Durant or even all of them better than a Beal, but on any given night, they could give you enough of something to potentially turn a game. Right
Yes.
now, it's solely on a Booker and Durant. I mean, let's be honest. If God forbid something happened to Booker and Durant, tweaked ankles, would you expect us to win any games?
No,
Without the big
absolutely
three?
not.
Yeah.
No.
And so we have to keep telling ourselves, wait a minute, we're down one, and which then means if one of them's having a bad game, we spent almost 10 years with Devin Booker. Well, not he came in the second half of that, but we had a lot of years where Devin Booker was our only player. And we saw we don't win a lot of games like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Now we have Kevin Durant, and I would argue that the team might be deep, but it's certainly not super talented in that depth. We don't have 10 rookies that don't kind of know how to play the game, but we have a lot of guys that aren't going to be able to impact the game as heavily as a Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson can do on a given night.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with all of that. I'm right on board with it. And also, you have to add to the whole thing is it's pressure on this team, right? I mean, the way HB is building this team is now or never. Like, if you're not proving that this is basically, if you're a coach, a player, anything to contribute to this team, if you're not proving that this is a championship contender, you might be gone soon, right? That's the way I feel. I mean, the expectations of this team every year, especially with Kevin Durant being here, he knows that they gave up a lot for him. He wanted to be here in Phoenix. If things aren't working out, and yeah, we're a 500 team right now, and we got Beal coming back, but if things don't work out quickly and they keep losing and go on a longer losing streak, who knows what's going to happen? That's a lot of pressure for Kevin Durant. It's a lot of pressure for Booker to prove like, hey, I am a superstar. He's been doing it his whole career, right? For respect. Now he's in the slump. He started out the season so well, got a little hurt once in a while, missing a few games here and there, but there was just like this pressure on him to prove that he's a superstar, that he belongs. He's fallen off so far, which I don't even know if he makes an all-star game this year. I don't think he's an all-star, right? I mean, there's so much more talent out there. You even saw tonight with Fox. Like, I trust a Fox more than a Booker right now. But obviously that team knows what they're doing over there in Sacramento. But the added pressure of this team just might be too much. And I think, like you said, it's very top-heavy, and you can't rely on guys right now. So it makes you think about things, and they think about it too, man. That's why they're trying to get it together as quickly as they can. And if it's not coming together anytime soon, you might see some moves, and they know it's going to happen. So, but
I feel like it could be like a little bit, just like a little bit like a NBA 2K deal, because I thought about it too. Just like, wait a minute, Durant is still playing unbelievably well. He's scoring, through the roof. What could we get for him if we decided to just trade him and nobody else? And what could we get back? I wonder if it'd still be a king's ransom. It'd be interesting to kind of think about, but no, right now that's not where we're at.
I think he's hit a point in his career where it's like, I have to win here in Phoenix, otherwise I'm not going to win anywhere else. That's where I see it. If it's LeBron, you want to bring LeBron on. Right now, Kevin Durant, he's in a spot, he's in the Shaman zone with the rest of the players where he's kind of stuck in this situation that's just kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. I feel like right now it is. It's definitely very awkward for him here in Phoenix. You love the player, you love everything about him, but when you're losing and you know what you gave up. It's always going to be a thing.
Well, and we got to keep reminding ourselves, the amount of turnover that this team had. I mean, Devin Booker's looking around the locker room saying, I don't know any of these guys. Kevin was here very briefly, towards the end of last season. Then he missed it. He had missed a ton of games too, even when he came over. Damian Lee is on the shelf with, who knows when his knee's going to be good to go. So he's looking at Saban Lee, and he's probably like, dude, you're a two-way player. We don't even hang out. I don't even let you drink my red wine. And then he's looking at Josh Okogie, and he's like, you did not practice your three-pointers this summer, and it shows. And then he's looking around, and he's like, I don't know any of these other people. I don't, do you think they're going to Devin's Christmas party? I mean, I think, or is he like, I don't have Grayson's address. They are. I don't know him long enough. Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to talk to him. I mean, you're losing. If he can't talk to Jamal Crawford and gets upset over losing to him, like,
exactly.
He's not talking to his teammates when they're losing and missing wide open threes all game, but he was too as well.
Right.
So,
that's what we love the old Instagram stories of like McHale and Campaign and Cam Johnson and those guys like at parties together afterwards, like the Halloween parties.
Remember, DeAndre Ayton was always missing. He was never there hanging out with the dudes. Never.
Yeah. I get the feeling that was like Booker was like, don't text him. Don't text him. Just,
yeah. No, I think DA was in his own world. He's like, wait, hold on. Why would I hang out with you guys when I can go out and mess with these jubbly bubblies out there? Like, I don't. Why am I hanging out with you guys?
His video game time. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And then okay, so before we get out of here, just one quick thing. We do have just a couple more minutes, and we did go an hour. I thought maybe it would just be a half hour, but it was just so much fun tonight, Jake. I really appreciate you joining. Had a good time. Christmas is coming up. Do you celebrate Christmas?
I do.
Are you? Okay. Well, here's a question for you. You probably already answered it, huh?
Do you not celebrate it?
No, I do.
Oh,
I just got to be careful. I don't.
No, sure. That's
anybody. Okay. Favorite Christmas movie and worst Christmas movie.
Ooh, okay. See, I'm always ready for this one because I am a Christmas fanatic. So my favorite Christmas movie is Bill Murray's Scrooged.
That's a good one. Wow.
Yeah. I love
that.
Comedy.
I love that pick, man. That's a good one.
Yeah. So I actually just rewatched that for the umpteenth time. I think earlier this week because the Suns keep losing, so I need to channel my inner Frank Cross. Worst Christmas movie is actually it's actually going to be Jingle All the Way. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I like Sinbad movies, and I like Phil Hartman. And everyone always likes to reference the "put the cookie down now." Yeah. But like everything else is a slog to get through in that movie. It is absolutely so long. I remember like people always putting memes together and stuff. And then I was like, I'm going to watch this thing through the whole way. That was a terrible decision.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad movie.
I would rather watch Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen. That's how bad I think.
I can never finish that one. It just never picks up. Jingle All the Way is a weird one because when I was younger, I kind of liked it, but rewatching it, it's like, this is terrible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sinbad, pretty awful. Just pretty annoying. I think Sinbad, like It's Always Sunny. He made an appearance on there. He's funny, but like maybe that's the only time I liked him was on It's Always Sunny. But
he had a great movie called House Guest in the 90s.
Okay,
that also star Phil Hartman. I think
I never seen his stand up though. So, but he was kind of just too much, right? It was a little too much. And Phil Hartman though.
Mm-hmm.
And Jingle All the Way, I think he's hilarious. That's the only bright spot there. Yeah,
like the
he's kind of like
his neighbor's wife.
Udoka tonight. Yeah, so
you doke these nuts.
I'm gonna
Phil Hartman nuts.
I'm gonna take your pick though for worst.
Okay.
I might go Jingle All the Way, but I really like those like Hallmark special ones. Like they're really cheesy. Chris, like I've been watching those lately. Like they're just so dumb and like it's just fun to watch to have on the background. It's always
the
like
big city girl with
yes, exactly. It's always
working
a big
on
city
a project.
Corporate.
She goes to
my
the
dad
country
owns a firm or whatever, but I have to prove like go to the small town.
And then finds the guy in a plaid shirt that owns his own bakery and just happens to be a single dad that's just looking to.
And everybody in the town knows him. Yep, that's the way it always is. Everyone like he's like giving money to the homeless man. Like, watch this guy. He's crazy, and he never has a life. Like all of a sudden, this hot girl's there, and like he has no life. Oh, but his wife passed away and stuff. Like that's the way it always is.
Well, it's
been a
got to be for
year. Put the
Hallmark.
star on top of the
It can't be
tree.
like, oh, divorced, it didn't work out. She was cheating on you. No, she died. She died. She
I
had one
know.
of those
Yeah,
random
there's always a
small town
kid.
illnesses that our doctors haven't
the
figured
kid,
out yet.
and the kid like loves the lady that just gets there. There was the one, I forget the name of it, with Lindsay Lohan. Watch the whole thing. I love those movies. They're awesome. But yeah, so I'll go Jingle All the Way. And then my favorite movie is The Muppet Christmas Carol. Great movie. Have you seen that one?
You know, I've not all the way through. I remember who's it? Is it Kane? Is his name? The actor that plays a Scrooge in it.
Michael Caine. Yeah,
Michael Caine. Yeah, and everyone, like, I've been hearing a lot about that, about how he just played it way too straight, and that they interviewed him later, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to act like I was part of like a very talented theater group. Instead, there were Muppets talking to me, but I decided to play it as like straight and mean of a Scrooge as I could. So I'm like shouting at Muppets, and people are like, "Oh, you were really intense."
Yeah. He's great in it, man. I love that movie. It's gotta be my top.
I gotta go one quick defense though, because I've been seeing some people, and it's definitely the passing of a torch. I think I'm getting the feeling that we're not going to be getting 24 hours of A Christmas Story much more into the future, because there's a younger generation that feels completely removed from it. And I've been seeing some people of my own millennial generation just like, A Christmas Story doesn't do it for me. I don't get it. And see, that one I watch every year as well. It's definitely up there. It's not Scrooged.
That's the black and white one, right?
No, that's It's a Wonderful Life.
See. Now,
Christmas Story is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. They play 24 hours on TNT.
I'm so bad at this stuff. I really am. Like, it's been
Well,
so long
it's
since I've actually seen that
Hallmark,
one. I was
yeah.
never a big fan of it though, so I apologize.
Oh, okay. Well, then watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's an Always Sunny Christmas, I think it's called.
Yeah,
They
the
had a
one where
Christmas episode for like an hour.
Charlie and Mac realized, like, Charlie realized
Trying to get the
his
Christmas
mom-
spirit, man.
Yeah, his mom was basically a whore, and Santa's
Had
were coming
never-ending
over giving
Santas
gifts.
coming, and Mac was
that's a
just
top
like
10
robbing
episode.
houses, and it was like, oh no, that was the other
Yes.
family coming to get their Christmas presents. This is South Philly tradition.
Yeah, that is a great one. So just really quick, Jams just had a few in here. Favorite Christmas movie, John Nelson, Fire Vogel. That's a good one. Lazy Sasquatch, the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Ooh,
Classy Nasty, peace out. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, review. I didn't even say that the whole pod, so I apologize.
That's all right.
But
After this game,
I don't think it helps anyways. So, but gonna have the same likes tonight, just like every other night. So hit the.
Well, what
like
about
button.
Elf? You like Elf, right?
Elf's good. Yeah, I love Elf. It's funny. My niece is 5 and she loves Elf, dude. So we watched that one for sure. How about Die Hard? I guess we can ask that. I've only seen Die Hard once. So I don't know the whole Christmas movie thing. If it is if it isn't, I'm not. I cannot decide. I don't know if you want to go ahead and answer that.
Point that Die Hard is just Home Alone, but starring Bruce Willis, and that kind of flipped both movies on its head for me. But yeah, it's basically about one guy that's taking on adult criminals, except Die Hard does it a little bit more violently.
Okay.
No, because Home Alone does it pretty violently too. More blood and gore.
More
Die
blood
Hard for sure. Yeah.
Brew 92. Watch Four Christmases. It's a good laugh. Actually, I've not seen that. Have you seen that?
It's Vince Vaughn and I forget who.
Is Jack Black in it?
No, I don't
I don't
think so.
think
John Favreau's in it though. I think Vince and his parents are divorced and her parents are divorced, and they get caught trying to leave the country and celebrate Christmas elsewhere. So instead, they have to go to 4 different Christmas parties. It's a bit of a slog too. There's better moments though than Jingle All the Way. I'll say that.
All right, well, that's a great way to end the pod on a bunch of movies that I've never seen, and John would have probably been a better host with all the Christmas movies, huh?
You got some homework to do, man.
I guess I do. I don't really watch too much. I always watch It's Always Sunny. That's all I ever watch, so it's always on in the background, man. I've probably seen every episode 200 times. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta talk more Always Sunny next time than on this, because I used to always have it on too.
You come on when the Suns are 5 games below 500, and we'll have something to talk about.
These Suns? I don't know. Let's talk about
top
Frank
10
Reynolds.
episodes. Yeah, top 10 episodes, top 10 moments. We can
do that for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Jake. You can find him at equipment,
Suns
Fallen
Planet
founder.
Pod. And we'll be there in less than 12 hours, hosting a Suns
Yes.
fan and podcaster from the great country of Spain. So we'll be talking about Spanish Christmases and how much better they are than this entire Phoenix Suns week. And then you can also find me individually at Fallen Founder on Twitter.
All right, very good. You can find me at Matthew Lissy. And you can find us at Suns Jam. Don't know why I'm having such a hard time with that. I guess I'm just so sad this whole thing's over with. But at least we have Christmas to look forward to. Jamsters, we will see you Christmas night. Very late. There's an 8:30 game against the Dallas Mavericks. If you guys care to watch, of course, we'll give a prediction if you want. I thought the Suns would actually win this Kings game. I just had some hope. But do you think they actually pull out the victory against the Mavericks? I'll just ask you really quick.
I do. It's going to be Azubuike's big shot nut game into Luka, and I'm here for it.
Okay, well, I can't wait.
I want him to dunk on Luka. Let's make it happen.
Awesome, dude. Well, I can't wait. It's going to happen. Until then, go home and love your family, everybody.